Okay, I went to In-N-Out Burger this afternoon and something like ridiculously weird happened, and I've kind of gone down a rabbit hole since, so I got to take you with me and show you what's going on with their supposedly philanthropic practices. Yeah, let's take a look. So, my partner and I went to In-N-Out this afternoon. Hadn't been in a while, but it was just business as usual. We go through the drive-thru and they ask us if we want to round up on our purchase to the nearest dollar to make a donation to help end homelessness in our area here in Silicon Valley in the like South Bay area. I think absolutely, yeah, right, that sounds fantastic. So we round up to the nearest dollar to this charity and go about our business, go through the drive-thru. We get to right before the window where you pay, and there's a little billboard sign with more information about this same donation that we made, and it's a board that says donate to His Eyes Foundation, and there's a QR code. I'm like, okay, wow, they're really doubling down on this charitable donation incentive. That's fantastic, right? Sounds good. Then we get up to the pay window, and the cashier is wearing a pin with the same His Eyes Charity Foundation name. And then they hand us the placemats that you use if you're like eating food in the car. And usually they just have like the In-N-Out logo on them or some ad or something. This time it was different. This time it had a whole thing about this charity, the His Eyes Foundation. Let's read about it. His vision, our mission. The His Eyes Foundation was established to honor the life and vision of Evan Ellinson, who believed that we should see people experiencing homelessness through God's eyes. Now, I want to preface the whole rest of this video by saying I am not a religious person, but I respect everyone's individual ability to believe what they want to believe and practice whatever faith they choose to practice. I have no problem with that. I encourage that. That's one of the principles this country is founded on, and I believe in it. I take issue, however, with individuals who try to impose their religious beliefs unwillingly on other people, and especially when corporations try to leverage religion, and particularly Christianity, as a tool for manipulating individuals or advancing some sort of social cause, when really profit is what is driving their intention. So just want to preface it with that. Let's read more about this. After walking his own path through homelessness, Evan devoted his time and resources to serving others. To ensure his mission continues, his brother Sean Ellinson and Lindsay Snyder Ellinson, keep that name in mind, founded His Eyes to carry on his legacy of hope and care for the most vulnerable. We invite you to join us in honoring Evan's legacy by bringing hope and resources to break the cycle of homelessness and restore lives. During November, in support of National Homeless Awareness Month, In-N-Out Burger will match your donations 3-1, up to $300,000. This next sentence is very key, so keep it in mind. 100% of every dollar raised goes to organizations that provide hope, immediate support, and sustainable solutions to those experiencing homelessness. Now, that sounds like a good message, right? Like that objectively sounds like a good thing that we should strive to do. Provide support and resources and sustainable solutions for people who are experiencing houselessness all across the nation, right? Like that, of course. Immediately, some alarm bells are going off in the sense that hope is the preceding idea there before immediate support and sustainable solutions. I mean, you can argue maybe that's a technical grammatical thing, but as we dive into sort of the more gospel religious coded aspects of this whole grift, dare I say, I think the fact that they lead with hope over actual actionable solutions is very telling. And then we get a wonderful logo here of His Eyes with a excerpt from the Bible and an image of a woman on the street. And then in the reflection, we see that she has she has been saved through God's eyes and is now, it seems, cooking. When we flip this over, she's happy, she's in a home, and she's cooking up some food. Then we get a second placemat. This one's even better. Same message on the side, except the image it starts with, we've got this guy smoking crack, this guy shooting up, and then a third person just drinking on the side of the street. I can't tell if they're AI generated. I'm pretty sure they're just like AI generated images. And then through God's eyes, they've found new purpose, and they're happy. They're walking on the beach. They've got that kind of like religious aura glow behind them, right? Okay, so just seemed kind of weird. It seemed kind of weird. So I decided to look into this a little bit further, and the first thing I thought to do was I'll just look up His Eyes Foundation and In and Out. And immediately I was struck by the fact that when you search In and Out, His Eyes Foundation, there's no direct website to the charitable organization, the His Eyes Foundation itself. I thought that was pretty weird. What did show up, however, was a Facebook post from the official In-N-Out Burger and His Eyes Foundation with Lindsay Snyder. Okay, this is like a cross-posted post between the three of them. In-N-Out Burger, of course, a page with 2.7 million followers. Okay, let's go back to the post here. 2.7 million followers. Lindsay Snyder, this woman who cross-posted it with the corporation that is In-N-Out, 6.3 thousand followers. Okay, we will revisit that in a second, but let's read about it. And let's take a look at the His Eyes Foundation as well. I haven't looked at this page yet. 800,000 people without a bed, roof over their heads. Okay. So it looks like a lot of what they are cross-posting here is the same information that is on their website that we're about to get to in a minute. The charity, the foundation, His Eyes. Okay. We are proud to introduce our new foundation, His Eyes. So this is an In-N-Out established foundation. His Eyes was founded by my brother-in-law, Evan Ellingson, and officially formed by my husband, Sean Ellingson, and me, this is Lindsay Snyder speaking, with the mission to provide hope, immediate support, and sustainable solutions to those experiencing homelessness. It's the second time we've heard that phrase. Our new foundation pays tribute to Evan's life by seeing the homeless community as he did, through God's eyes. As we honor Evan's legacy by bringing hope and resources to break the cycle of houselessness and restore lives, we invite you to join us in the fight by raising funds for those affected in our local communities. Seems like a honorable mission. Throughout November, National Homeless Awareness Month, In-N-Out Burger will match donations 3-to-1 up to 300,000. All month long, you'll notice all restaurant locations displaying materials that highlight the cause and how contributions can be made, like the placemats. 100% of every dollar raised goes to organizations that provide hope, immediate support, and sustainable solutions to those experiencing homelessness. Every donation brings us one step closer to making a difference. Just a funny way to phrase that at the end. The donations don't actually make a difference. They bring us one step closer to making a difference, apparently. Through His Eyes, we hope to continue the work started by Evan as we see every individual through God's eyes and provide care for the most vulnerable. Lindsay Snyder Ellingson. So immediately, I'm struck by the fact that this doesn't really say anything about what the foundation does. They provide hope, immediate support, and sustainable solutions for the homeless population. What does that look like? This is a charitable foundation made by one of the largest corporations, one of the largest fast food corporations in America. What do they do? Where does this money go? Well, let's take a look at Lindsay Snyder. I think it's interesting. I don't know what it means. I think it's interesting that she goes by Lindsay Snyder and only refers to herself as Lindsay Snyder Ellingson, specifically when referencing this charity. So, okay, I'm struck by the fact that her profile has a lot of In-N-Out related pictures and memorabilia about. No, like, clear information off the bat. Like, a lot of her posts are In-N-Out related or related to other charities, like this other one called Slave to Nothing. And then she's also a part of this band that I think is In-N-Out affiliated as well. So a lot of In-N-Out, a lot of national days, a lot of talking about like sobriety and houselessness and like social advocacy campaigns that seem reasonable. Happy National Mustard Day. You know, it seems like a lot of the kind of like benign Facebook posting that you see from your average Facebook user. Well, let's look at about and work in education. Oh, she's the owner and president of In-N-Out. Okay, so this isn't nobody. This is the owner and president of In-N-Out. Okay, so I go back to just searching broadly for any information I can find about this charitable foundation. Okay, so if we search for In-N-Out His Eyes Foundation, what we find is not a direct link to the His Eyes Foundation website, which seemingly does not exist in any of these results. We find the foundations page for In-N-Out Burger. When we go here, we find that we're helping our communities become stronger, safer, and better places to live with In-N-Out Burger Foundation, the Slave to Nothing Foundation, the other one that Lindsay mentioned, and the His Eyes Foundation. The most recent one, which is right here at the top, His Eyes, bring hope to the homeless. In-N-Out Burger created His Eyes to provide hope, immediate support, and sustainable solutions to those experiencing homelessness. And then the same information about how they're matching donations 3-to-1 up to $300,000. Another little Bible verse here. Okay, so I click on Donate Now, and it takes us to, what do you know, the hiseyesfoundation.org, the website that does exist after all. There's a donation page. Bring hope to the homeless today by donating. You can input all your information here. Other donation methods. You can pay by check or visit our restaurants. His Eyes is a registered 501c3 tax-exempt organization. All donations received are considered tax deductions for the giver. So this is a like nonprofit organization, and that should mean that there should be a lot of disclosure about and transparency about where their funds are going. The impact of every dollar donated. In-N-Out Burger covers all the costs associated with the His Eyes Foundation, ensuring that 100% of every dollar raised supports organizations that provide hope, immediate support, and sustainable solutions to people experiencing homelessness. This is important for two reasons. First of all, In-N-Out Burger is footing the bill for the costs associated with actually running this foundation. So the actual organizers of it, Lindsay and the other individuals involved, are not necessarily personally liable or footing the bill for any of this. And then 100% of every dollar raised supports organizations, so other organizations. The His Eyes Foundation is supporting other organizations that achieve the mission of providing hope, immediate support, and sustainable solutions to people experiencing homelessness. Who are those organizations? We don't know. You can sign up for their mailing list. I will not be doing that. So I went page by page to see what else we could find out about this foundation. First up, about us, the story behind His Eyes. His Eyes was founded by Evan Ellingson, who deeply believed that we should view people experiencing homelessness through God's eyes. After his own personal journey with homelessness, Evan devoted his time and resources to caring for people who were still living on the streets. To honor his legacy, Sean Ellingson and Lindsay Snyder Ellingson had His Eyes legally formed to honor the heart and vision of Evan Ellingson. So, Evan Ellingson, let's look him up. He's got an IMDb page. Evan Ellingson made his acting debut in 2001 with roles like the TV movie Living for Fear, General Hospital. 2007 and 2010 played the role of Kyle Harmon in CSI Miami, and he played the role of Jesse Fitzgerald on My Sister's Keeper. So he was an actor, and he reportedly started abusing drugs at age 19 following the death of his older brother from a heroin overdose. So it sounds like there's a history of drug abuse in his family. And then he died of a suspected fentanyl overdose in Fontana, California on November 5th, 2023. He was 35 and died of a fentanyl overdose. So there's no clear information here about how he personally was affiliated with the idea behind this organization. They refer to it as being founded by Evan Elliotson, but then immediately thereafter say that Sean and Lindsay legally formed it. So they are the ones who created the organization, and it's unclear exactly what his role in this was at all, or if this is being made in his honor, but only after he passed, without any sort of direct input while he was alive. From providing essential resources like meals and hygiene kits to offering long-term supportive care, His Eyes is committed to supporting local organizations that are making a tangible difference in our communities. We also believe that financial resources alone aren't enough. Our greatest passion is to share the hope of the gospel with those in need. That's their greatest passion. Above material support, unclear. They refer to it as their greatest passion. By funding programs that both serve both physical and spiritual needs in the communities where In-N-Out does business, we reach families in crisis, transforming lives one step at a time. So the only actionable thing that I'm reading here is that they provide essential resources like meals and hygiene kits, which seems like a good thing. I'm going to read more about that coming up. More about Evan's story. Evan was more than a brother. Sean Ellingson was serving in the military when he learned that his little brother was out there somewhere sleeping on the sidewalks, lost in a fight he couldn't win alone. The news broke Sean's heart, and he left the military to come home and help his brother. Once they reconnected, Evan opened up about the reality of homelessness. Survival was one thing, but the pain of being alone and overlooked was unbearable. Evan learned firsthand that people experiencing homelessness need more than just food and shelter. They need connection, consistency, and most of all, hope. He wanted to remind the world that no matter how far someone has fallen, they are still fully seen and fully loved by God. Evan's gift was the ability to see people through God's eyes. He looked past dirt, the addiction, the behavior, and saw a human being with a story worth hearing and a life worth redeeming. I think that's possible even without looking at somebody through God's eyes, but good nonetheless that he saw the humanity in people. That perspective shaped the heart of what would become His Eyes, born from Evan's dream to build something lasting and real. That His Eyes Foundation is not a quick fix or a handout. It's a commitment to people where they are, to learn their names, hear their stories, understand their pain, and walk with them toward healing and transformation. Okay, again, like it doesn't seem like he was directly affiliated with this. Maybe this was born out of, his journey and it was inspired by him, but to say that he founded this, I think, is misleading. Evan is no longer with us, but his heart continues to lead the way, reminding us that healing begins when we stop looking past people and seeing them how God sees them. That's how we change lives. That's how we change communities. Okay. Our mission, here we go. Now we're getting into the meaty stuff. His Eyes exist to provide hope, immediate support, and sustainable solutions to those experiencing homelessness. Never mind, it's the same sentence. You can make a difference 3 ways. Donating, which we've already been to, getting involved, or grant interest, if you're interested in funding for nonprofits that serve homeless communities. Let's look at the Get Involved page. The Get Involved page has a series of 5 helpful tips for how you personally can get involved, because we will come to see there is no way to directly get involved with His Eyes in terms of boots on the ground work that they're doing. They just encourage you to get involved with your own local community. So tip 1, see the person, not the problem. Offer a warm greeting, a simple smile can go a long way. We've got some words from Jesus on the side, fantastic. A warm smile or a friendly hello can go a long way, especially to someone who's feeling invisible or alone. For people experiencing homelessness, that small moment of kindness can remind them that they're truly seen and that they matter. Studies show that smiling triggers the release of mood-enhancing hormones like endorphins and serotonin. Okay, so this can all be true, but if you are a charitable foundation, I think it's important that your number 1 actionable tip is not telling people to offer a smile or a warm greeting, but instead actually provide information on what practical solutions you provide as an organization to help combat the homeless crisis that you are ostensibly trying to mitigate in the U.S. That said, if this isn't all that you're offering, then it could be an important reminder, so let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Tip number 2, make your own hope kit. So those kits that they reference with meals and hygiene products, it turns out actually they want you, the individual, to be creating these. They don't personally, as an organization, it seems, create what they call hope kits. Providing a hope kit to someone experiencing homelessness offers immediate relief and conveys compassion and respect. These kits can include essential items such as, now you'll note, we've got a couple bullet points here. This first one for the Thess bar takes up just about as much space as everything else, from hygiene products like soap, shampoo, toothbrush, deodorant, Clothing essentials, generally use jackets, socks, gloves. Water is not at the top. The Thess bar is, or seasonal items like sunscreen in the summer or hand warmers in the winter. All of these are things you should absolutely include in any sort of charitable giving you're doing to the houseless population in your community. What the hell is a Thess bar? Well, it's got a link. Nothing else has a link to like resources or like corporations or companies, small companies engaged in also combating the houseless crisis that you could purchase these items from in order to kind of double or improve your charitable impact. The only thing that is linked is the Thess bar. Let's check it out. Thess bar, renewing mind, body, and spirit. We exist to nourish bodies and souls, igniting compassion so the poor can flourish. The Thess bar. Look at this graphic design, first of all. Scan for hope. The Thess bar is thoughtfully crafted for those facing food insecurity and homelessness. Click on the QR code for messages of hope. Let's watch the Thess bar's story.
So a few years ago, a friend of mine, his name is Jones, he's a food scientist, and towards the end of his career, he's saying, gosh, what can I do with this talent that God's given me? And I'm like,
let's note just the cross in the background, the lighting, like it. Come on.
I know exactly what you need to do. You need to come to Africa with me, to Ethiopia. There is like this crazy famine going on there, and we're trying to feed these people, but you could go and look at the plants, look at the agriculture, and know what would be most nutritious for them. In the process of doing that...
Okay, so what he just said is that they, in order to combat the famine and starvation crisis in Africa and specifically in Ethiopia, they were trying to address this. To do so, he brought his friend Jones, who is a food scientist, who this man says was going to look at the agriculture and plants in an effort to better understand how they could holistically best address food shortages. And the solution to that is a protein bar.
We realized, the homeless in the U.S., we feed them, but it's not with things that are nutritious. And so he created this Thess bar for here in America, where you can actually give one to a homeless.
So this is actually only for America. So they I guess they didn't hand these out in Ethiopia at all. I don't know did they do anything there?
This person, and it gives them all the nutrients they need in a day. And not only that, but then there's a QR code here where they can look at that and scan that and actually get a gospel presentation and hear the good news that there's
There it is. There it is. It's not about the food, it's about the gospel.
God who loves them and wants a relationship with them. So this is an opportunity not just to bless someone physically, but it's a tool that believers can use to hand to people and actually share the good news verbally, but also for them to watch it online. So I hope you can use this tool in some way and that God uses it for his glory.
He referred to food as a tool that believers can use. Oh my God, like this is the problematic stuff. If you are a religious entity, a church, a faith group, any sort of thing, and you want to do some sort of community involvement or charitable giving, like that's fantastic, but it's not no strings attached if you're handing out protein bars that you refer to as tools that the believers use ostensibly to manipulate people on the street who are suffering, who are experiencing the impacts of a system that has forgotten them. And they are looking for help, they're looking for community, They're looking for sustainable housing and just a dignified life. And not only are you offloading the work of actually helping them by leaning into the idea that God will be the one to save them, you are actively trying to plant the seeds of religious conversion via the food that you're handing out. They also say that this is packed with all of the nutrients that they need for an entire day. But it's a protein bar, so I highly doubt that this is an entire day's worth of nutrients. It seems so problematic. Let's read the poll quotes. We got Dave Phillips, the founder and president of Children's Hunger Fund, loves the intentionality behind the Thess bar. Let's see. John Brackenbury of the Salvation Army also loves it. That's fantastic. If you don't know, Salvation Army, also a deeply religious organization with some past aversions to the LGBTQ community, shall we say, past and present. Let's read about the product. Essential nutrition for health and well-being. Nutrient-dense meal with protein, 20 essential vitamins, supports healthy immune energy, and then the real kicker, the QR code on wrapper to offer the gospel. What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, this is the most transactional corruption of what could be genuinely positive faith-based teachings that try to get people involved in helping their communities. And instead, we are packaging protein bars with gospel QR codes to remind houseless people that God loves them while they're suffering on the streets. That's fucking ridiculous. Here's the nutritional facts and ingredients list. Brown rice syrup, peanut butter, almond meal, unsweetened chocolate, cocoa powder, natural flavors. It's a protein bar with some vitamins, right? Vitamins and minerals. Each bar offers the message of hope. You are loved, you have value, you have refuge, you have purpose. What does this actually provide? Like, just give them any protein bar. The fact that this exists in the first place is a disgusting corruption of what could be positive faith-based teachings. The fact that this is being marketed by the His Eyes Foundation and linked to as a direct product that you individually are supposed to purchase and give out to community members after you make a donation to this organization that is itself supposed to be the charitable foundation helping the individuals on the streets is mind-boggling. What are we doing? What is this organization? It doesn't make any sense. Let's read more in the About page. Their mission is to nourish bodies and souls. And souls, keep that in mind. We believe that sharing acts of compassion, like giving a nutrition bar, unleashes ripples of positive impact and fosters community through the universal language of kindness. We've got some poll quotes here from individuals they interviewed on the street. I love it because it tastes good. It helps fill you up. These people need food and assistance. Like, oh my God, this company is just grifting off of the destitution that people are experiencing from a failed economic system. It is disgusting. Let's meet the founder, Jones Chan. This is the food scientist who went to Ethiopia and then decided, no, actually, I'm going to make a gospel-based protein bar and hand it out to houseless people in America. Jones has more than 40 years of experience leading research and development in the food industry and supplemental industry for organizations like Nature Made, Power Bar, and Nestle. This guy is he's just a corporate, like, protein bar executive. This is, oh my God. This is ridiculous. Okay, so that's how you can get involved. The number one thing, according to the His Eyes Foundation, that you are supposed to be giving to houseless people on the street, not them, mind you, not the organization, what you individually are supposed to be doing is giving out the Thess bars. And then, you know, if you can spare it, shampoo, soap, like clothes, water, I guess, but like Thess bar number one. Tip number 3, point people to local resources like shelters and food banks. This, again, seems like a very positive message and something that we should be doing. The most meaningful help that we can offer is to point someone in the right direction. So it's talking about studies that show that access to basic needs like shelter and meals can significantly improve a person's physical and mental well-being. And then you can find some essential services here. Again, seems problematic that the corporation itself or the foundation itself is not the one offering all of these resources and creating them in a palatable way that you could share with individual localized communities, but instead putting the burden on the individual. But again, generally speaking, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Good message here. They've got a couple links to like Feeding America and HUD. Number 4, volunteer your time. Getting involved, whether by volunteering your time or speaking up for policies that tackle the root causes of homelessness, can make a lasting difference. Again, something I absolutely agree with. They are very good at writing the initial blurb about all of these concepts in a vague way that sounds good, that is sort of universally palatable, and that doesn't get too specific about what the hell they do. Let's look at where they want us to volunteer our time. Oh, the His Eyes Trusted Organizations. What do you know it? What do you know? They're coming soon. It is currently November 3rd. It is November 3rd. This foundation and the charity drive, that the 3-to-1 matching donations from In-N-Out, is running the entire month of November. It has been going for 3 days. People, myself included, unbeknownst to me, have been donating to this charity, this foundation. The organizations which it provides the money to help foster solutions for houselessness, and it doesn't specify what those are, the list of the organizations that they give money to is coming soon. We do not know where the money that His Eyes Foundation is taking in is actually going. We just don't know. It is coming soon. What? Let's look at who else we're supposed to volunteer our time with. Citygate Network. Citygate Network is a movement of gospel-centered ministries, rescue missions, recovery centers, outreach programs, local churches, and rescue missions. Army of Love, a faith-based organization affiliated with His Eyes. In what way? That unites and equips the body of Christ to minister and bring healing to brokenhearted and hurting people through Christ's love and the power of the Holy Spirit. It's all a religious grift. It's fucking psychotic. And number 5, last tip, number 5, be cheerful. Choose to share some of the blessings you have received to be a light in someone else's life. In other words, talk about your own faith-based experience in the hopes that you might potentially convert someone who is struggling to convert to your religion and become a lifelong customer of the church. When you give financially to the His Eyes Foundation, 100% of your gift goes to carefully vetted organizations who are not listed, who we do not know which carefully vetted organizations they are referring to, but they are supposedly on the front lines of gospel-centered care. What the hell does that mean? What is this? Your generosity today means someone's life can be impacted tomorrow. I don't doubt that my generosity today impacted somebody's life, but I have a feeling it means some executive got a little bit richer off of my donation, and not that somebody on the street actually got assistance from one of these organizations who are unlisted. You play an essential role in providing hope for the homeless people and ending the cycle of homelessness in our community. And then some more words from Jesus. So get involved, not in the sense that they have volunteer opportunities as a foundation, that they have positions that they're hiring for as a foundation, that they have actionable things that they do as a foundation. Get involved in the sense that this foundation takes in money from your donations, gives it to other organizations that are unlisted, who are unidentified, and then tells you to get involved by doing the work on the ground yourself. So why are we donating to the foundation in the first place? Well, let's try to find out more about what they do. His Eyes is working to restore hope and dignity to those experiencing homelessness by providing funds to carefully vetted organizations that provide immediate care, essential resources, and community directly impacting the areas served by In-N-Out Burger. It's worth noting again that this is not something affiliated with In-N-Out Burger. This is like one of In-N-Out's official foundations. Like they created this thing. Lindsay Snyder Ellinson and In-N-Out, her company, created this. Their goals: housing solutions. Everyone needs a place to call home. For those in need, housing provides safety, security, and relief to move beyond survival mode and start building a solid life. While four walls alone won't solve homelessness, we believe genuine life transformation happens when housing is partnered with community support and opportunity. Just briefly nitpick, I would say 4 walls for an individual, if we're referring to a home, that does solve homelessness for the individual. Emergency relief. It's hard to experience hope when you're hungry, cold, or in pain. At His eyes, we know how important it is to meet a person's immediate needs with acts of compassion that can build hope and bridge toward hope, or that can build a bridge toward hope and healing. The first step is showing a person that they are seen. What does that mean? What is the emergency relief? It opens a door to trust, restoration, and long-term solutions. What do you do? What is this? Employment programs. Stability, purpose, and dignity are essential components of the recovery for homelessness, but for many, barriers such as lack of ID, work history, or unresolved trauma can make employment nearly impossible. That is true in circumstances, okay? But again, what specifically are you doing as a foundation to address this? Programs that provide mentorship, training, and wraparound support help restore confidence, purpose, and self-respect that comes from meaningful employment. What are the specifics? And then the best. Gospel-centered hope. We believe that a person is not a problem to solve. All people are loved by God and need to be seen the way that He sees them. Those living on the street are overlooked and forgotten. God's love is our greatest resource, offering hope to those in need. You can absolutely believe in God. You can believe in faith. That can guide the way that you interact with your community. For a person suffering on the street, God's love is not our greatest resource. We have food. We have housing. We have shelter, we have medicine, we have rehabilitation programs. God's love is not the exclusive primary answer to solving the houseless crisis in America. This is absolutely psychotic. It is offensive to the people on the street. It is offensive to charities broadly. It is offensive to people who genuinely practice this faith and believe in compassionate giving and the positive treatment of others in their community. It is absolutely ridiculous that they are trying to leverage gospel-centered hope as this vague terminology to not only corrupt the beliefs of individuals who are suffering on the street, who are vulnerable and looking for community. It is also ridiculous that they're using that as a leverage point to get financial donations from people. Final page on here. Resources. Stay informed. Here we get some statistics about the current state of houselessness in America, okay? And the sources for all of these statistics are very important. Stay informed. The reality of homelessness is a growing reminder of the urgent care for compassion and systemic change. Record high homelessness. On a single night in January 2024, approximately 771,480 people were experiencing homelessness in the U.S., an 18.1% increase over the previous year and the highest number recorded since national data collection began in 2007. Source is 1 and 2. Let's go down. The sources, there aren't links here to the specifics. There are just listed. Oh, wait, no, they are linked. Okay, good. So 1 and 2 here are from the Housing and Urban Development and the National Alliance to End Homelessness. So these are both credible government organizations and NGOs, and they're just providing statistics on the reality of houselessness in America. Now, we can look at the means by which they're collecting this data and see if it's actually indicative of the full extent. You know, a lot of statistics about homelessness or houselessness in America don't actually take into account people who are on the margins of this, who are underemployed versus unemployed, and who are, you know, on the brink of potential homelessness. Oftentimes they are not recorded in these sorts of studies. So broadly speaking, though, let's take these at face value and say these are credible statistics. The next one, significant increase. From 2019 to 2023, the number of people who entered emergency shelter for the first time increased by more than 23%. That is also from the National Alliance to End Homelessness. Okay, so again, just a statistic about the state of homelessness. Number 3, lack of church ties increases risk to homelessness. With weak social ties, people are more likely to become homelessness. Direct quote. A study found that, quote, the lifetime incidence of homelessness is reduced by 60% for individuals with strong ties to family, religious communities, and friends. Now, note, That is not what the title of this statistic is suggesting. They say that a lack of church ties increases risk of homelessness. What the statistic actually said was that it reduced, for 60% of individuals with strong ties to family, friends, or religious communities, they had a reduced incidence of homelessness. Now, first of all, it's incredibly misleading to sandwich religious communities in between friends and families, which are far more localized examples of communities that can directly support you, that know and understand the needs of the specific individual. So it's disingenuous to say that the 60% number and then heavily imply that it is solely affiliated with the religious communities aspect there, when in fact the family and friends aspect is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. In general, though, this is also just an incredibly despicable way of suggesting that people who are without faith, who are not practicing Christians, because keep in mind, they don't mean religious values broadly. This is not suggesting that people on the street should go out and read the Quran, to read the Torah, to explore Buddhist practices, or take up an interest in Sikhism. It is solely Christian-centric religious ideology. And it is absurd. It is absurd to suggest that the reason that these people are suffering out on the street is because they are not tied to a church. That is despicable. It overlooks the systemic injustices of capitalism. It overlooks the way that our politicians continue to ignore the houseless population, even when we have exponentially more empty housing in America than we do unhoused individuals, and instead to suggest that church ties, the lack of church ties, is what is putting a majority of people out on the street is fucking despicable. But let's look at who suggests this. Number 3, the Acton Institute. Who's that? Well, let's look them up. Acton Institute. The Acton Institute, full title, For the Study of Religion and Liberty, is an American conservative and libertarian think tank in Grand Rapids, Michigan, with an office in Rome. Its stated mission is to, quote, promote a free and virtuous society characterized by individual liberty and sustained by religious principles. There certainly is no ideological slant to this organization. I am sure that they conducted this study in a way that was entirely unbiased and purely concerned with the collection of objective facts and data, and was not designed to advance a Christian nationalist ideology that would suggest that conversion to their faith is the proper way to get people off the streets. I'm sure that is the case. Of course. Fucking ridiculous, man. And then the rest of them, this is the crazy thing. All of the statistics that the His Eyes Foundation is providing, all of them that are blatant factual statistics about the realities of houselessness in America, are all from like government organizations or NGOs. They're actual studies. The U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness, Security.org, National Alliance to End Homelessness, HUD. Okay, like these are just statistics. And again, like collection methods aside, we are talking about actual statistics. The only prescriptive action that they suggest here, the only one of these items that in any way relates to something that can be done to counteract the current state, the status quo of houselessness, is the implication from the Acton Institute that church ties alone will reduce the number of houseless individuals on the street. Everything else is just telling you this is where things are. This is where things are. The stat from the Acton Institute is the only one that says, hey, here's a potential solution. That is insanely disingenuous. It's ridiculous. Oh my God, I'm getting so heated over this. This is In-N-Out. What are we doing? What is In-N-Out doing? This is their official organization. And then down here, okay, we've got some links to finding a shelter, finding resources. Where does it take us? Fucking Citygate. Citygate, as you'll recall, is the organization where is this one? Where is the Citygate information? Oh, we just had it. Offer a next step. No. Was it in the kits? It's in volunteer your time. Yeah. Volunteer your time. The next option under His Eyes Trusted Organizations is to volunteer with Citygate, which just so happens to be the location that they send you, the web location they send you to find a shelter, to find a healthcare center. Where's this going to take us? findahealthcarecenter.org. Okay. Cat's got to say hi. Okay, so that is the state of this website. Like, this is genuinely all that exists. If we search his, I got to show you for the record, His Eyes Foundation, in and out. There is no direct link to the website that I just showed you. Like, if you just search for His Eyes Foundation, it's not there. This website, the hiseyefoundation.org, does not show up. It is only through the In-N-Out Burger Foundation's subsection of their website, through the donation link, that you can actually get to the specific website that they built for this foundation, that is 100% a grift to leverage faith and charitable giving to enrich these corporate executives without actually offering any specific. I mean, this is a 501c3 nonprofit disclosure regulations. An exempt organization must make available for public inspection its annual information, Form 90, Form 990, Form 990EZ. Returns must be available for a 3-year period beginning with the due date of the term, or if later the date is actually filed. For this purpose, the return includes any scheduled attachments that are filed with the form. Okay, so again, like the level of transparency, even if it's not any sort of direct violation with like IRS regulation, which I'm not suggesting it is, the level of transparency here is abysmal. They are suggesting that they provide hope, immediate support, and sustainable solutions to those experiencing homelessness. We've heard this phrase over and over again. Hope, immediate support, sustainable solutions. We have not heard one practical, specific thing that this organization actually does to achieve any of those ends, outside of spreading the gospel to people on the street. And they don't even directly do that. Like, what is the infrastructure of this foundation? It's not clear. They link to the Thesbar for the food that you yourself are supposed to put in the hope kits, the packages that you give to people on the street after you make a donation to them. The donations that you give to them go to other organizations that apparently achieve these ends, but the list of those organizations is coming soon, so we don't even know who the money is going to. It's ridiculous. It's unbelievable. What is going on? Where is this money going? And what is this organization? Okay. So after all this, I exhausted literally every page on the His Eyes Foundation website. Then I wanted to learn more about Lindsay Snyder, because as we saw, she is the owner and president at In-N-Out Burger, and she is the one who has been cross-posting all of this information about the His Eyes Foundation with In-N-Out, as well as about Slave to Nothing, her other charitable organization that I believe is intended to end human trafficking and drug addiction. I haven't even done a deep dive into the specifics of that organization as well, but let's find out more about her. Well, we go to LinkedIn. It does not appear that she has a profile herself. She does, however, have one related post. The rest of this, unrelated. The only relevant result when you search her name on LinkedIn, Lindsay Snyder Ellingson, president of the chain In-N-Out Burger, shared advice and insight in a conversation with Lori Becker, publisher and marketing president at Nashville Business Journal, and president Dr. Candace McQueen at this morning's Nashville Business Breakfast. Thank you, Lindsay, for spending time with us this morning. This is from Lipscomb University, Christ-centered community, preparing learners, purposeful lives, rigorous academics, transformative experiences in Nashville, Tennessee. Not only is it a religious university, it is in Nashville, Tennessee, which is no coincidence. Let's find out more about Lindsay. This is from the Orange County Business Journal. OC's Wealthiest 2025, Lindsay Snyder Ellingson. This is her. The young burger heiress. At 23, she became the primary beneficiary of In-N-Out Burger, the beloved fast food chain her grandparents founded in Baldwin Park in 1948. In May of 2017, when she turned 35, she took full ownership of the Irving-based company, maintaining her title as president. Family history. She's the only grandchild of chain founders Harry and Esther Snyder. Became the sole heiress of the chain after the Snyders' two sons, Rich and Lindsay's father Guy, passed away. Rich died after a plane crash. Okay, the chain's famous hand-pressed burgers served on toasted sponge dough. Okay. The numbers. As the chain grows, the 43-year-old's wealth also increases as In-N-Out remains a privately held chain. No franchising where operators get a large cut. Stores logged $2.4 billion in sales in 2024, up from $2.1 billion the previous year. As of press time, the chain has 423 stores, with 4 coming online soon, including 1 each in Washington State and Colorado. Company is OC's largest woman-owned business and the region's 3rd largest chain restaurant behind Taco Bell and Chipotle. Since becoming president of In-N-Out Burger in 2010, she's grown the chain's units by 76%, expanding its core California footprint by adding restaurants in Oregon, Texas, Colorado, and Idaho. In-N-Out rarely makes menu changes. Okay, HQ relocation. This is very important. All eyes are on Tennessee, its farthest pushed east to date. Openings coming in 2026, with its Eastern Territory office opening in Franklin, suburb of Nashville. Announced in early 2025, In-N-Out is ditching its Irvine headquarters in 2029 and returning its corporate booths to Baldwin Park. Some of our associates will be relocated in Tennessee, which makes it even more important to centralize our Western headquarters in one location where our company's deepest roots are in Baldwin Park, Snyder Ellison said. Our West Coast family will be together in one place where In-N-Out Burger began. Okay, we're going to get to this goodbye call in a minute, or goodbye Callie in a minute, because I found a link with the full context. Hobbies, loves drag racing and plays in the In-N-Out band. So that's the band that I was talking about. Total aside, she does that with her husband and loves drag racing. Hell yeah. What? And then philanthropy. Here we go. Founded Slave to Nothing Foundation in 2016 with the mission to free people from being enslaved to any person or substance. In 2023, the devout Christian gave an undisclosed gift to Biola University to help build a new $74 million facility for the college's Snyder School of Cinema and Media Arts. The gift also created a new scholarship dubbed the In-N-Out Burger Scholars Fund for foster and at-risk youth. In May, Costa Mesa Vanguard University received a $900,000 grant from the In-N-Out Burger Foundation. In her words, this partnership with Vanguard University continues the mission of In-N-Out Burger Foundation, empowering even more students to pursue their education and build brighter futures. I believe my family would be proud to know their legacy continues through this gift and the impact it will make for years to come. So, she personally donated an undisclosed gift to help build some portion of a $74 million studio in the college's School of Cinema and Media Arts named after her family, and separately a grant from the In-N-Out Burger Foundation of $900,000. Keep in mind that for this entire charitable foundation, the His Eyes Foundation, what In-N-Out is offering is a 3-to-1 match on donations to help end houselessness through the month of November, up to $300,000. Up to $300,000. What are we doing? This is ridiculous. Okay, let's read more from Fox 11. In-N-Out president moving family out of California. This was July 18th of this year. Los Angeles. In-N-Out president Lindsay Snyder announced she and her family are moving out of California as the company plans an eastward expansion. What we know. Snyder announced the move in an episode of the podcast Relatable with Allie Beth Stuckey that aired Friday. We're building an office in Franklin, Tennessee, so I'm actually moving out there. Snyder, the granddaughter of In-N-Out founders Harry and Esther Snyder, grew up in Northern California before moving to Southern California. Part of her decision, she said, came down to her family. There's a lot of great things about California, but raising a family is not easy here. Doing business is not easy here. In-N-Out announced an expansion to Tennessee back in 2023. In addition to the Eastern Territory office in Franklin, Tennessee, the company said it will open multiple restaurants in the state. Earlier this year, In-N-Out also announced that it would be moving its corporate headquarters from Irvine back to Baldwin Park, where the restaurant was founded in 1948. Let's find out more information about the move. This is from Forbes. Okay. Lindsay Snyder is the heir of the beloved West Coast chain. She became a billionaire in 2017 on her 35th birthday when she received the final portion of her inheritance and additional stake in the chain. She steadily received stakes in the business for a decade as part of a complex trust created by her grandparents. She took a job as a top president in 2010 and has been expanded the number of In-N-Out restaurants by more than 150 locations. Okay, it's not about the money. It's not about the money. Unless God sends a lightning bolt down and changes my heart miraculously, I would not ever sell. A devout Christian, Snyder sports 5 Bible verse tattoos. Competitively drag raced most of her adult life and was once married to a race car driver. I don't care. Wealth history. She is currently valued, according to Forbes, in 2025 at $7.3 billion. She was talking about how it is hard. It is not easy to raise a family or do business in the state of California, says the woman worth $7.3 billion. This is what kills me about this entire situation. This is yet another blatant example of corporate greed mixed with religious fundamentalism. This is an individual who could herself donate far more than what her corporation is offering to match in donations alone from individuals. All right, they're offering 3-to-1 match up to $300K. She's worth $7.3 billion. She could give that money away herself, not notice the difference, and actually make an impact on the ground for people's lives. But instead, it's all wrapped up in this religious gospel, and there's no clear indication on where this money is actually going. It is not clear who is getting the money that is being donated to In-N-Out, purportedly for the sake of inspiring hope and sustainable solutions for people on the ground experiencing homelessness. I'm pretty sure she was like vehemently anti-lockdown. Oh yeah, here we go. In-N-Out owner reportedly talked with Florida governor after CA vaccine mandate dispute. In-N-Out's refusal to enforce vaccine mandates in California is attracting politicians. This is 2021. In-N-Out owner Lindsay Snyder Ellingson had a call with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis on Monday about the policy of expanding this to the Sunshine State. So even after Florida has reached out multiple times, and she says, no, the one time there was a prospect of In-N-Out moving out or into Florida was when she was pissed about vaccine mandates. When asked about the conversation, DeSantis' office said no restaurant should be forced to require vaccinations. Chain is currently has no restaurants east of Texas because its suppliers are based on the West Coast. Florida officials said they would look to identify suppliers. Snyder, the 43-year-old billion-dollar heiress to the famed burger chain, cited the challenges of raising a family in the Golden State, while it also comes at a time when the company is expanding the business into the volunteer state. Grew up in Northern California before moving to Southern California. She has 4 children, married to Sean Ellingson, who has a background in Christian ministry and mentoring. Who could have guessed? We're building an office in Franklin. Okay, we heard about this. We're doing a lot. There's a lot of things great about California, but raising a family here is not easy. Doing business is not easy here now. $7.3 billion net worth, I remind you. Last year, the company closed a location in Oakland that had been operating for 18 years, citing crime issues that impacted customers and employees. It was the only location to have closed in its 77-year history. It currently operates more than 400 locations. I mean, there's a lot. Lindsay Snyder told the PragerU video network in December. PragerU, famously, the education program built out of 2025, infamous, I should say, for the Christopher Columbus slavery was not that bad educational YouTube video for kids. Fucking psychotic. She's doing interviews with them. SFGate reported there's actually gunshots went through the store. There was a stabbing. There was a lot. Gotta play up the fears of the average Fox base. Yes, here we go. Okay, there's a lot of things great about California, but raising a family is not easy here. Doing business is not easy here. This is the quote we've been hearing from when she was on the Relatable podcast. Snyder also grasped about the state's implementation of rules surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic, which saw state health officials shut down 2 restaurants in 2021 for not checking vaccine status. You've got to do this, Snyder said of the vaccine mandate for indoor dining. You have to have this plastic thing between us and our customers. It was really terrible, and I look back and I'm like, we should have pushed harder on that stuff. We're not policing our customers. Oh my god, dude. She's a PragerU affiliated, devout Christian who was pissed that we had to wear masks and have plastic dividers between minimum wage workers and the average customer during the COVID pandemic because that equated to policing customers. And she is now grifting off of the insane affordability crisis all over the nation by leveraging the gospel as a means of, you guessed it, providing hope, immediate support, and sustainable solutions to those experiencing homelessness. I remind you, this is an official organization made by In-N-Out Burger that is taking donations actively from the public. They are providing graphics on their merchandise that advocates for this message. They are encouraging you to donate money to them to fund a foundation that does not disclose where its money goes in an effort to provide solutions that are not once specific to practical ideas. Every single message that they provide in their website, in any of their messaging, is just vague notions of hope, immediate support, and sustainable solutions. If the support was immediate, you should be able to reference just give me one thing that you have actually done. The only specifics they provide are on the get involved, where they tell you what specific things you can do by getting involved with their other religiously affiliated organizations, by buying their religiously affiliated protein bars to give to people on the street so that they can be indoctrinated by the gospel. There is not one specific thing that this organization does. It has been 3 days in November that they have been accepting donations, and their organization list of trusted, vetted organizations that are receiving the funds that you donate is still TBD. It's coming soon. It is unlisted. This money is just out there. Where is it going? We don't know. Is it going to Lindsay? Is it going to the Thesbar guy? A little bit of everything in between? Oh my God, dude. It just pisses me off because these people have the ability, the funds, the capacity, the infrastructure to actually use a mega corporation like In-N-Out to do good. They could just donate this money straight up. They could just do it. SNAP benefits just got cut at the beginning of this month. They could say, hey, we're going to donate X amount of money to help offset that, right? Like, that could be done. Even if they wanted to leverage their faith in some way and say, hey, like, we are devout Christians, and so we want to donate specifically through like faith-based organizations that are boots on the ground helping people at food pantries or soup kitchens, things like that. Like, okay, I don't agree with, I don't believe the same things that you believe in terms of your faith, but as long as you are invested in actually actively, practically helping members of your community, that is what is most important. But to do neither of those things, to not use your own personal funds when you're valued at $7.3 billion and instead try to lean into the affordability crisis like you are the same sort of person who can't afford to live here when you're worth $7.3 billion and you oversee tens of thousands of minimum wage employees, to not donate your own money and then to leverage your faith in the most transactional way possible, where there is literally gospel baked into the nutritional protein bars that you are telling me to buy and hand out myself, when you are telling me that the only resources available for where I can volunteer my time are through your faith-based organizations that you are directly financially partnered with. It just says like strategically partnered. What does that mean? Like, how are you actually affiliated with each other? It is so wildly opaque for a 501c3 that is supposed to be a charitable foundation in the memory of a homeless individual who died tragically of a drug overdose. They are leveraging that to grift donations from the public, and then with as little transparency as possible, pocket that money. I don't know. I genuinely do not know what this thing that is the His Eyes Foundation does or who gets the money from it. So that's the gist of it. I don't know what else to say right now. If you have more information about this place, like, let me know. I don't know who needs to hear this, but I'm gonna be avoiding In-N-Out for the foreseeable future. I think that's safe to say. And yeah, this is just fucking crazy. If you are a charitable organization, you have a responsibility to be transparent about what you do, where your money goes. the specific actions you take to help people on the ground to advance your mission. And I mean, come on, like, your mission should not one of the primary pillars of your mission should not be gospel-centered hope above specifics on any of these other things. If this was just one pillar of this whole holistic approach, and you had specifics on what housing solutions and emergency relief and employment programs and advocacy looked like, that's one thing. But to just leave these, to address these problems, to acknowledge that they are real problems, and then to not address them with specifics, and then lean into this belief that our most important and helpful resource is God's love, it's despicable. So yeah, boycott In-N-Out, I guess. I don't know. This is disgusting. That's all I have to say about that. Okay, after I finished filming and editing the bulk of this video, I stumbled upon one additional link that comes up when you search for His Eyes Foundation, just broadly, and it is for a job posting for an executive director of the foundation, cross-posted on Slingshot Group, Teal, and LinkedIn, so several like job posting boards. I'm just going to read you the description here. New opportunity for nonprofit leaders in Southern California. In-N-Out Burger is launching its newest foundation, His Eyes, with a mission to create home and community for people experiencing homelessness in the markets. They're hiring for their first foundation manager, parentheses, executive director, to bring a bold vision to life. This full-time in-office role will lead strategy, grant marketing, and program development while collaborating with community partners, donors, and the In-N-Out family. It's located in Irvine, California, where the foundation is headquartered, and the salary posting is $150,000 a year, which is exactly half of what In-N-Out as a corporation is pledging to donate in matching funds for this entire charitable giving drive. If you're a strategic, heart-centered leader with experience in housing, homelessness, and foundation management, this could be your next chapter. And then if we click the Apply Here link, there is no page found on the In-N-Out website. It does not exist. What is this organization?